Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for FET price prediction based on Elliott wave analysis. And as a special bonus for the supporters of this channel, I have partnered with Phemex to bring you exclusive rewards only by using, of course, the referral link in the description below to unlock valuable bonuses and perks. So enjoy the rewards, and starting with FET on the daily chart, we are looking here at WXY towards the downside, three waves up, making this as an expanding flat. Now, an expanding flat, of course, to be continued or to be accomplished, you need, of course, a wave C with 5 waves towards the downside. So far, we have an impulsive wave here as a diagonal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, after this, we have seen 5 waves towards the upside. Now, of course, it brings us to a scenario which it is a time to talk about it when we look at this price action. Now, of course, it's coming in a few minutes later. But before moving to this, I want to mention another scenario that it might unfold, and it is not necessarily to be 5 waves. It can be a W and then X and a Y. Your wave Y can be anything as a zigzag or as a flat, or maybe even as a triangle. However, looking at this shape, because we have an impulse, and possibly another impulse, it is a little bit much more closer that we are looking to a contracting diagonal where you see all the waves almost as impulses, right? Where potentially even a wave 2 can be an impulse as well, but you need to see all the 5 waves as impulses. And this, we're gonna, of course, know much more about it once we figure out what's going on inside this 1 hour chart here to see exactly what is going on. So let's dive deeper a little bit here inside it and see what is going on the 1 hour chart. On the 1 hour chart, guys, we can see, of course, after this 5 waves toward the downside, we are looking at a very healthy impulse here, where we are looking to 5 waves up, A, B, and a C as an expanding flat for your wave 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for your wave 3, perfect, and then A, B, C for your wave 4. That's awesome. And then you are looking here at a zigzag, of course, or potentially an impulse as well. It can be even as a zigzag. It doesn't matter because we are looking at a diagonal, and a diagonal, contracting diagonal, can start with an impulse or it can start as a zigzag. So we are looking at 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5. And also your wave 5 is a zigzag here, where of course you are looking for here as an impulse, possibly a zigzag and then impulse and then zigzag and then impulse towards the upside, which is very, very short. However, the price action that we had here after seeing 3 waves down, we saw another 3 waves up and then again lower low. And that brings us again to 5 waves down again, right? And here it starts to spread some uncertainty, right? When we see impulse, big impulse down, and then impulse up, and then impulse down, so 5 waves for every wave. It brings us to the scenario where you might be looking at a contracting diagonal, which it has 5 waves impulsive. Now, what does it mean? If you start with an impulse as a wave 1 and your wave 2 is also an impulse, it is mandatory that all your waves continue as an impulse. It is not allowed, of course, that one of them is a zigzag or something like this. Now, a contracting diagonal can start as an impulse and continue as zigzags, right? And then impulse and zigzag and then impulse. Or even it can be zigzag, one of them. One of the impulsive waves can even be zigzag or a complex structure even. However, when you start with an impulse and your wave 2 is also an impulse, therefore all the waves should be impulsive. So these are the rules of course, contracting diagonal based on Elliott wave. So therefore now when we look at these waves here, where we are looking here at a potentially, of course, contracting diagonal for a wave 1 and then wave 2 and then 3, 4, and a 5. it brings us kind of to a contracting diagonal, right, as well, which is an impulsive wave as well. However, it is a little bit still doubt. I have a little bit doubt still in this shape of this contracting diagonal, because it looks like very, very straight, not contracting so much. However, we're gonna see if that is gonna turn into a 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5. So if this is only your wave 1 here, therefore, yeah, your impulse might still be longer, and that this might be an impulse as well, right? Where we are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. The last time I made here a video, right, for FET, we were looking, we were looking at this, right? And I mentioned, okay, this is very weird price action for me, right? The price action looked very volatile and very choppy, and it means something. And we were looking already at 1, 2, and probably looking for a double 1, 2. And we had our confirmation for a double 1, 2 to take the high, but we did not take the high. And this was, of course, our signal or our trade entry. Of course, no financial advice, but however, this is always what I need. To get a confirmation, you need to pass the right price, and we did not. And in that case scenario, we went even lower back, and then I said here, okay, this is your bearish confirmation, because you got a new low. And when you get a new low, therefore that means, of course, now you have a 5 waves towards the downside. Which bring us to a questions, what is going on? Is it also still an A, and then possibly B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a C? It is also possible, but still looking for lower somehow. It doesn't really show a signal of strength towards the upside. It shows only weaknesses, and potentially we are still diving deeper. However, if we have our fib levels here for a wave 2, let's have our wave 2 as an impulse. We want to reach, of course, the perfect levels for an impulse, which are between our green box here. We already hit now with this additional wave towards the downside, we have hit a 0.5. Which is okay, but yeah, 0.5 was never really a robust support for a wave 2. It might work for a zigzag, but not for a wave 2. Therefore, preferably that we dive, of course, deeper still onto the green box, and then looking for higher prices. Now, if we get, of course, here another leg somehow like this, we might start to think about this differently. We might start to think that we have potentially a W here, and then you have an X as a zigzag, and potentially a big zigzag as a Y. And WXY, of course, is a 3 waves towards the downside, and bringing us, of course, to the scenario where we want to see higher prices again after having a 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5. In another case scenario, which is a bearish, of course, you want to break these levels. Since we have to seek now still for lower prices, if you break the 0.78 at 0.85 cents, therefore, of course, this is a stronger confirmation that we might take, of course, this low. Because if you touch the 886, of course, here, and once you touch it, it means you're gonna take the low. By taking this low, and that means, of course, there is continuation towards the downside, because on the bigger time frame, if we continue lower here, after breaking this 886, therefore, definitely you are one of these big scenarios that we talked about, whether a zigzag as WXY, finishing the wave Y here as 3 waves as a zigzag, or you are in a wave C for an expanding flat as A, B, and a C, of course, but with 5 waves towards the downside. So this is how much FET now is a very critical. If we get to this area, it is a very dangerous area where we can get very, very bearish. for, of course, one big leg towards the downside as a wave Y, or as a big wave 3 after having a 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and a 5, which is much more lower. This was it for FET. So of course, be careful with it, especially during the US elections. It might even get worse with a higher volatility and so on. So thank you for watching, and thank you for your likes and comments. And don't forget, go to Phemex and use the link below to get some rewards. See you in the next one. Bye bye.